My aunt said I was tearing the family apart by skipping Christmas. I said she already did that when she slept with my father. I found out about the affair 6 months ago when I saw texts on my father's phone that made my stomach turn inside out. I had been avoiding every family event since then because I couldn't look at my aunt without wanting to scream, but she kept showing up at my door demanding answers. When she cornered me the week before Christmas and said, "You're breaking your grandmother's heart and you're too selfish to even care," something in me snapped and I decided that if she wanted me there so badly, I would come and I would bring the truth with me. I walked into my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve with my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. My aunt looked up from the kitchen and said, "Oh, look who finally decided to grace us with her presence," loud enough for everyone to hear. And my mother shot me an apologetic look that made me want to scream because she had no idea why I had actually been staying away. My aunt handed me a glass of wine with a smile that didn't reach her eyes and said, "I'm so glad you came because family should be together on Christmas." And I took the glass without saying a word. We moved to the living room and my aunt sat down right next to my father on the couch, close enough that their legs were touching, and she laughed at something he said and put her hand on his knee like it was the most natural thing in the world. My mother was sitting across the room and didn't even notice because she was so used to her sister being affectionate with everyone, and watching her obliviousness made me want to flip the coffee table over right then and there. We sat down for dinner and my aunt positioned herself directly across from me, so I had to look at her the entire meal. And every time she glanced at my father with that familiar look in her eyes, I felt my blood pressure spike a little higher. My aunt stood up with her glass raised and said, "I just want to say how grateful I am to have everyone I love sitting around this table right now." She looked around the room with this warm expression and said, "Nothing in this world matters more than family, and I hope we always protect each other the way family should." She put her hand over her heart like she was accepting an award for being the world's greatest person, and said, "Loyalty is everything to me, and honesty is what holds us together, and I thank God every day that I have people in my life who understand that." Then she looked directly at me and said, "I'm so glad you finally decided to stop being selfish and show up for the people who love you." My hands curled into fists under the table so hard my knuckles went white. I set my fork down slowly and looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I'm glad to be here too because I'm tired of pretending, and I think you know exactly what I mean." The smile froze on her face. I said, "I know about you and my father, and I'm done sitting around this table acting like our family isn't rotting from the inside out." The room went completely silent. My uncle rose slowly from his chair with his hands flat on the table like he was bracing himself for impact. My mother's fork clattered against her plate, and she looked at me like I had just slapped her across the face in front of everyone she loved. My father opened his mouth to say something, and I pointed at him and said, "Shut up because I'm not finished yet." I looked around the table expecting shock and tears, and my aunt finally crumbling under the weight of what she had done. But her face didn't crumble at all. It hardened into something I had never seen before, something that almost looked like she had been waiting for this exact moment to finally arrive. My aunt started laughing, and it wasn't nervous or defensive, but something cold and almost delighted, like I had just walked into a trap she had set years ago. She said, "If we're really doing this right now, then we're going to do it all the way." She turned to my mother and said, "Do you want to tell everyone, or should I do it for you?" My mother's face went completely white, and she grabbed the edge of the table like she might fall out of her chair. My aunt said, "Your mother has been sleeping with my husband for even longer than I've been with your father, and your little sister isn't actually your father's daughter at all." I said, "You're lying because you're desperate and you'll say anything to deflect right now." My uncle sat back down in his chair very slowly and didn't say a single word to deny it. My mother wouldn't look at me. My aunt smiled and said, "You wanted to blow everything up, but you didn't even know what you were standing on." My sister looked at me with tears streaming down her face and said, "Why did you do this to us?" I opened my mouth to answer her and realized I didn't have one.